Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com.
Now, up first this evening, a 48-hour curfew has been imposed on 3 communities in Linstead following the brutal slaying of 5 persons in a section of that community known as Commodore. The curfew applies to areas such as Commodore, Banbury and Trinity.
The curfew began at 6 p.m. Monday and will continue until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, October 8. Now, a wave of grief and disbelief has swept through Commodore following the killings. Sandy Williams has the details.
In the stillness of Commodore, grief hangs heavy. What was once a peaceful Sunday night turned into terror and tragedy.
It was at this bar tragedy struck last evening. Persons were gathered here, some on the inside, some outside. Residents say it wasn't anything special, just the usual Sunday evening chill out when gunmen dressed like police officers appeared and opened fire. But the carnage didn't stop right here. At the back of the bar, there's another entrance and exit. Bloodstains, blood clots, and slippers left behind by the victims. All grim reminder of the horror that unfolded.
In the end, 5 people were dead. Among them, 4-year-old Shannon Gordon, a student at Rosemount Primary and Infant School. She was reportedly running inside the yard when the men chased and shot her multiple times.
For somebody to turn an M16 on a 4-year-old, it speaks to the kind of evil mindset that we have to encounter out there, and that we have people living among us who, continue to perpetuate the kind of violence and evil intent on our people, our good citizens. It's really, really a very bad situation.
Even the family dog didn't survive. His remains, a silent warning of the violence that stormed this residence. Inside, relatives too grief-stricken to speak, holding on to each other as they try to process what happened. Denise Murphy Bramwell is the counselor for the Bogwalk Division.
Most of them are traumatized. I guess you would have been aware that there would have been incidents, on previous occasions. Not as severe as this one, not as profound. So they are even more traumatized now. They want intervention. They want intervention, not just for the immediate family, but for the entire community. I was absolutely devastated. Devastated, not only because, I know some of the persons, but because of the intensity, the brutality, that was executed here. So it was really, and still is, heartrending for me.
She says 2 of the victims once worked with her, including 19-year-old Joshane Edwards, a bright young man full of potential.
He was a runner, very jovial young man, very resourceful, and he's humorous as well, and he's very ambitious as well, because one of the things that he kept, pressing before was to get some chickens, to start his own little business and so on, which through Natalie, were able to assist him with that and his mom. So I can say that for him, I know that he had good intentions.
The others killed have been identified as 42-year-old Mario Sullivan, 22-year-old Famous Amos, and Aisha Washington, a parent of another Rosemount student. At Shannon's school, classes were held online to facilitate cleaning from floodwaters on the weekend. However, Shannon's teacher was overwhelmed by the sad news. Counseling sessions are expected to begin tomorrow.
It's a tough one. Never ever in my lifetime in Commodore we had 5 people destroyed at the same time. Never. We have had challenges, and I myself personally have been on the road alone just to offer prayer. And I just recharge my thing yesterday, because I said I'm going on the road to offer some prayer, and this happened last night.
Once a quiet, close-knit village, Commodore is now scarred by gunfire and grief. And for Shannon's mother, who lost her only child, the silence tonight is unbearable. Sandra Williams, TVJ News.
An act of criminal terror. That's how Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has described Sunday's deadly attack in Commodore. The Prime Minister, along with members of the Police High Command, has sought to assure residents that they will track down those behind last night's deadly gun attack.
This crime amounts to what I would describe as an act of criminal terror.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness following a tour of the grief-stricken community of Commodore St. Catherine Monday afternoon. Dr. Holness, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake met with residents and the families of the victims. And by all indication, pain, anger and grief is still raw.
Now, while residents reel from this devastation which has rocked their community Sunday evening, the police commissioner is making it clear that no stones will be left unturned to bring the perpetrators to justice.
We do not need to give them shelter. These guys are somewhere being sheltered by someone. If you believe for a moment that you're safe having people like these in your community, then let me assure you, you are not. Right? I tell you, we will leave no stone unturned as a JCF to ensure that these persons are brought to justice.
Dr. Holness, who described Sunday's attack as an act of criminal terror, said it was designed to drive fear into residents, but the police will respond with such force. Fear remains high, as some point to the possibility of a reprisal. But for Dr. Holness,
I'm certain that the police will be acting in such a way to ensure that there are no reprisals or to prevent them as much as possible, and to be proactive in ensuring that there is a proper security presence and cordon in the area to protect the citizens here and to prevent any retaliation coming from outside or even from inside going out.
As the police intensify operations in search of the perpetrators, a reward of $2 million is being offered for information on the deadly attack.
I really sincerely urge those citizens, those members of the communities who know, please share the information with us. It is ultimately in your benefit.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
In the meantime, the incident has sparked outrage and calls for urgent action. Opposition spokesman on national security Fitz Jackson has condemned the attack, describing it as a grim reminder of Jamaica's ongoing struggle with violent crime. Now, he praised the police for their swift response, but urged a thorough investigation to bring the perpetrators to justice. And Member of Parliament for North Central St. Catherine, Natalie Nita Garvey, also expressed sorrow over the incident, calling it a dark day for the community. The opposition continues to call for urgent and sustained measures to tackle violent crime and restore safety across the island.